Okay, so everyone can see right now. So yeah, again, good morning to everyone, to all participants of this First Tech Challenge season 2021-2022, as well as the mentors from various industry that led the team until today. So today is our first checkpoint, which is checkpoint 1, where we focus on the mechanical part. So we call it a tech clinic for checkpoint number 1. So we expected this session to be for 2 hours. So before we begin, kindly remember to rename yourself to as the below format: team name, then your name, just as example lah. My team is PAC and my name is Gerald. So I think everyone had already renamed themselves. Okay, so let us continue. So before we start our today's tech clinic, so I would like all of the attending participants to complete the mechanical pre-survey. This pre-survey. Let me copy it and paste it in the chat box. So to kindly type done in the chat box once you all have completed the pre-survey. So kindly remember that each of your feedback is very important for us, as if the outcome is successful and next year we can be officially registered as one of the competing teams for the next season 2022-2023, where the winners will advance us to the World Championship in United States. So to kindly write a done in the chat box once that you have completed. Hopefully everyone is doing well in this stage of the mechanical building. As
introduce me and Shah.
Okay,
While everyone is still doing.
Okay, so at the same time, I would also like to introduce another 2 different committees, organizing committees, which will help in running this First Tech Challenge competition. So first of all is our technical guy, which is Shah. So Shah, maybe he will later introduce himself, as he is now preparing for the chain 2 demonstration. And on our another side, we have Adrian. Adrian will be another person which actually coordinates with us throughout the championship, such as in the arrangement of competition as well the props. So yeah, Adrian, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello everyone, good morning. Oh, there's an echo.
What?
Good morning everyone. Happy to see so many participants early in the morning. I hope you are awake. There's an echo.
Jared need to mute while Adrian is speaking and vice versa.
All right. So welcome to our first mechanical tech clinic. I hope you will gain something from today's session.
Jared need to close everything. Jared need to close the mic and the microphone and speaker and the microphone.
Testing. Okay, while you all are working on the Google form, for those who just joined, do fill in the pre-survey form for today's mechanical session. So don't forget to, this FTC is actually the first in Malaysia. This is the first time that we have it in Malaysia, and it's widely worldwide recognized, especially by the US. And I'd be proud that you are here in today's session, and also we hope that you learn something from FTC as well. And don't forget, because this is a pilot session, we are also learning from you guys. So do let us know what you think from our mechanical clinic and also your progress. We would like to track the progress closely. And also, if you have more questions, please drop your questions. If you don't want to on your webcam, if you don't want to on your microphone, that's okay. But if you want to, we welcome you. But then drop your questions in the chat and we will try to answer your questions, as many questions as possible today. So welcome again, and I hope you enjoy this 2-hour session and don't fall asleep. Thanks, Jared. Back to you.
Okay, thanks, Adrian. So I hope everyone got some inspiration from our Adrian. So I hope that everyone is done with the survey. I will give an additional 1 to 2 minutes for you all to complete the survey, and we shall proceed on with today's agenda.
Jared, since everyone are still fresh, can we start with a photo before we go?
Sorry.
Hello? Can you hear me? Jared? Anyone can hear me? Hi, Jared. Test. Jared? Okay, so since everyone are here and all of you are still fresh, can we start with a photo session first? Just take picture and then we can continue. Would that be good? Okay, so let us wait for the rest to fill in the form first. Let's give a couple of minutes before you get the photo. Okay. For those who already fill in the survey form, I mean, for the participants, you can turn on your camera for a while. So we're gonna take screenshots, multiple screenshots of the Zoom. Okay, let's wait for the rest to turn on the camera to fill in the form. Yes. Okay, we still have right. Okay. I think we need more time because we have more like we have still have participants are still filling in the survey of link. Okay, let us open the video first. Maybe students, you can just fill in the survey link. Those who haven't filled in yet, while we are going on with the sessions. Maybe it takes some time for you to finish the form. Okay, let's turn on the camera. I'll request for everyone turn on your camera. Let us know if you need more time and for me to just take the screenshot. Okay. 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 Okay, everyone. So just hold your smile for like 3 to 5 seconds. So I need to take multiple shots because we have like around 70, have more than 70 participants here with us today. Okay. And also one final request before I screenshot, those who haven't turned on your video, please turn on your video, sorry, your camera. Okay. Okay, okay, let us wait for 1 more minute for the rest to turn on your camera. Okay, in 3, 2, 1, smile. One more. Please hold on your smile. I'm not sure you are on which page now because I have like 2 pages of but this list of participants here now. And 3, 2, 1, smile. Okay, done. Jared, you can take over. Thank you all.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, Shah, for the photo session. And yep, I apparently speaks better without a mask. Okay. So let us continue our tech clinic for today. So let me explain regarding our agenda for the first tech clinic. So first and foremost, we will like answer the questions which were asked through the clinic Q&A form, which you all team submitted together with the checkpoint report. So don't worry, we will not expose who had asked those questions. So we will keep it remain as anonymous respondent. So this will be followed by the questions from the floor. So hence, in this session, I would request students to turn on their mic and camera and ask us any questions. As this session, I would like to see the students asking different aspects regarding the problems during your mechanical construction. So next, I will explain regarding the team roles and responsibility, like what should you do as a team. And yeah, so I will explain the definition and the supposing model to be used in the team. So next, I will focus on the report type, where I will explain regarding what are the difference between a checkpoint report and an engineering folio. So what should you expect in this report and what should you expect in another report. So I will also explain to you all what is a Gantt chart and how it helps in the team resource management and how to create a one which it may enhance your engineering folio at the end, and also job distribution among the team members. So I would sum up with additional notes and reminders to team regarding the construction of their robot, in which it protects the set and also does not cause permanent damage. And lastly, I will announce the best, which is regarding the additional budget and allowance to the teams and what are the steps to claim it. So let's be patient. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so for my first one, I would answer the questions which are raised in the Q&A form which was submitted. So please be note that this slide I will share it and publish it in the website as well as today's team recording. Today's video recording. So let me publish. Let me post the link onto the chat box, so you all may see the frequently asked questions. You see your desktop. Sorry for the inconvenience. I think I shared the wrong screen. Yeah, that's it. Okay, so let me start again. Everything again. Sorry for this now, I'm not sharing the screen. So for our today's agenda, we will first start with answering the questions but which were submitted in the clinic Q&A form, which you all teams submitted together with the checkpoint report. So don't worry, this will be an anonymous respondent, so I won't reveal who asked the questions. So this is followed by the questions from the floor, which I encourage all students to turn on your mic as well as your camera to ask us any questions related to mechanical, electronics, or programming. But we will try to assist you because the question we had not prepared to how to answer them. So next, I'll explain regarding the team roles and responsibility. Sorry. Okay. Next, I'll explain regarding the team roles and responsibility, where what team members should do in assisting the entire team. I will also explain to you all regarding what are the reports type, what is a checkpoint report, what is an engineering follow, and what should you expect in them. I will also explain to you all regarding the Gantt chart and how it helps in the team resource management, as well as how to create one for the team, which it should be included in the engineering folio to show that what is the timeline and how do you manage the construction of your robot. I would also mention about some additional notes and reminder to teams regarding the robot construction and some frequently asked questions, where I also compile a Google Docs where you all can refer to, as I will share this entire slides to the website. Lastly, I will announce the additional budget allocation to teams and the steps on how to apply for the additional budget, which is up to 500 ringgit, of course, but let's discuss it later. So first, I will answer all the questions which was raised in the Q&A form submitted. So as you all look in the chat box, so I think if you look to the chat box, I have already inserted a link which it directs you to the Mechanical Tech Clinic Q&A form, where you all can see the question which was asked as well as the answers which were given. But I will explain the answers which were given to you all again, so that you can get a more better experience. So let's move on to the question sheet. Okay, so first question, are there any place recommendation for 3D printing? So the answer is that based on our previous announcement, teams which are from schools without a maker lab are actually allowed to loan a 3D printer from Penang Science Cluster, but you need to come to Penang Science Cluster to collect and build it yourself. So the schools with a maker lab are advised to fully utilize their 3D printers and the 3D print materials which are available in their lab. So yeah, these are how you get the 3D printing and the 3D printer parts for your robot. I hope that explains your question. Okay, moving on to the second question. Can you give us any information or sources or shop where to purchase additional parts with optimal quality and affordable price? So I will explain that the question for this is that depending on what are you looking for. So if you're looking for electronics parts such as the motor, the coax motor, ultra planetary motor, or maybe the driver, I'm not sure. So you need to purchase it from the official distributor. So let me share you the link for you to purchase. So this one is for those students who would like to purchase the additional part on their self-funded. So if you need some stuff hardware, like say some screws, let me remove my backdrop first. Okay. So if like say you need to purchase some screws or maybe, so this is nuts. If you need to purchase some nuts or maybe some screws, you can take the pre-existing quantity in your kit and go to a hardware shop and say that, hey uncle, can I have additional 1 kilo or 100 grams of this type of screw or nuts? So this can be asked. So hope it explains your questions. So, and again, if the parts that you want, like 3D print, you can 3D print using your own printer yourself. So next, can you give us any idea or tips where to start in aspects of programming and electrical work aside from the FTC websites? So yeah, in the FTC website, I have included the tutorials of how to program from Graph Robotics and how to attach different electrical components, like how do you attach together with the motor, how do you attach to make a sensor, how do you program a sensor from digital to analog. So aside from that, you can actually refer to YouTube to see some teams from the first FTC US, where the teams actually they have a short video like teach you how to operate a specific part. If like say I want to operate this motor and how to connect it, then yeah, you can find it in YouTube, and the teams will have the teams video will teach you how to connect it as well as how to program it. So okay. Regarding the next question, does an engineering folio play an important role in scoring points for the championship? So I would say yes. Without the engineering folio, your team will not be able to progress to the championship. So to say, actually, an engineering folio is a compulsory for your team to submit to us at least 2 days before the championship. So it will be used as a marking rubric for the awards that we will be awarding, as well as a documentation on your team's robot building. So again, I would say if you have any questions on clarity, you may open up your mic and ask us like, hey Jared, can you explain more detail regarding this statement which you have said previously? So I hope everyone can do that, as yeah, like what Adrian said just now, we are also learning at the same time, you are also learning. So mutualism, you learn, I learn. So I hope that is the scenario. Okay, so the next question is, what is the page limit of an engineering folio? The answer to that, there is no page limit. But please bear in mind, you have your works, your school curriculum works to do, as well as a robot to build and a checkpoint report to be submitted on each checkpoint. So please try not to burden yourself with the engineering folio like writing a lot. As what we want is, we want detail yet concise regarding your robot operation, robot building, robot planning, and what is your strategy. So moving on to the next question. Are there any tips for you and your team continue to excel in making constant improvement and progress of the robot and the team? So the answer given is that the team members from the various sub-team, they should work together while constructing in the project. In example, a mechanical engineer should understand the work of a programmer, and the programmer should understand the work done by the electrical engineer. So it means that even that as a team, you was divided into mechanical sub-team, programming sub-team, or electronic sub-team. But that is not the point. So what the mechanical sub-team is doing, other teams should also know. So like what is the plan of the robot building? The plan of robot building is it actually extends an arm and it scoops up something. And yeah, so this is also important for electronics team to like know, because what if an outsider asks you what is the design of a robot, you should also know how to explain my robot have this type of concept, so that my electrical in my how I assemble this, I use this motor, that motor. So that's how you can explain how to relate your different parts of your sub. I should say that's how you relate the different sub team in your team to be a team. So that is the true definition of a team, which I will explain later regarding the team roles and responsibility. So next, how to solve the issue of lacking funds to afford the required parts for our robot to function at its fullest. So the answer which was provided here is that you are advised to make the full use of the 3D printer to acquire the additional parts. So as example, some parts in my robot, I don't have the required parts as I've already gave my parts to some schools which have lack components, so I use 3D printer. However, 3D printer, it does not fulfill everything, as the plastic which was produced by REF is very strong. So some parts you can use and some parts we don't recommend you to use. So additionally, we will also provide you some additional funds for the robot building, which we will explain to you at the end of this session. Okay, so moving on, before I proceed on into the technical part of today's session, is there any questions you would like to ask? Okay, so regarding this, I have a question from the floor. So the price from Brave Robotic official distributor is expensive than anything. So yeah, that is one of the issue that we face. The things are very expensive as they are in USD. The things that we buy is only 150, but the shipping fee is around 700. So where we saw no tax. Yeah, so that's why I would recommend teams to think twice before you want to buy some additional electronics component from Drive Robotics, as they are from US and the shipping is very expensive. Is there any local distributor? So even that, is there any local distributor for official Rev Robotics parts? I would say no. We are currently the only distributor in Malaysia region to provide rough robotic part, but yeah, again, we are just only providing it to these teams as the purpose for the first tech challenge. So we are not doing wholesale in Malaysia. So we decided not to buy any plastic brackets, just buy motor and electronics. Okay. So thanks for the question. So I will now proceed on the Q&A session to the technical part. Okay, so first question. During the metal chain cutting using the number 5, number 25 chain cutting tool, one of the pins have been removed from the outer link. How should it be inserted back? So regarding this question, my colleague Shah will be doing a short demo on how to use the chain tool. So I will pass the session to Shah to show how he used the chain tool. So if you all want the detail how to use the chain tool, you all are advised to come to PSE where Shah will spare up some time to show you how to do. But again, please make an appointment with us or contact me, Jared, regarding your team is coming to PSE to build a robot or maybe to do some field testing. So I should.
Okay, thanks, Jared. Before that, we have questions here. Can we answer the question from before
Okay.
I do the demo?
Okay,
Can
let
we?
me understand. Can we use servo motors from other distributor? I would say the best is use rev servo motor. You know why? Because saying into rev servo motor, it consists of two modes. One is called angular mode, another is called continuous rotation mode. And that's why we have a SRS programmer, Smart Robot Servo Programmer. So this SRS programmer actually programs the servo to operate in a continuous rotation mode or an angular rotation mode. So yeah, I will recommend you to use the servo motor which was provided in the ref kits. In total, we have 4 servo motors if I'm not wrong in the kit. So hope I answer your question.
However, can I add, Jared?
Yeah.
However, if in case I found a motor that I can integrate in the ref side, but it's not from ref, and I'm basically I can found the connector, everything. Is it possible? Because the rule says can go up to 8 motors per robot, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay. 8 motors per robot. If we look detail, let me change my camera.
Yeah. So his question is yes, can or not do that.
You can use up to 8 motors, but in the in the control hub that we provided, we have only 4 ports for you to plug in the motor. So in here we will say the maximum is 4, but if according to the FTC rule, if you want to go to 8, you need to buy another expansion hub for 8 motors to work.
Yeah, I mean, in case lah, I mean, servo motor. I mean, their question is, can they use if they found out a way of not violating the rule, but add more motor, which is not from ref? Is it possible? But the rule is still not more than 8. Is it like that?
For the motor, if you refer to the illegal and legal list which are published in the website, it actually defines you a specific range of motor. Okay. So yeah, if
is
you
servo
want,
motor part of the illegal parts that cannot be used in ref?
Is servo motor is ref, so the one of the legal parts. But for other servo motor to be used, you can check the illegal or legal list. As I have not checked this before, as I know because the servo which was on the robot, it is programmable between continuous and angular. So as the first time when I attach here and I program it to turn, it is programmed angular, so it cannot turn at all.
Okay, so their question was maybe they tried. I'm not sure because we haven't tried using a servo port. Connect a servo motor to a servo port. Plus that servo motor is not is from other distributor. If it is possible to connect a servo motor which is not from ref into that servo port and the total motor is not exceed 8, is it possible, Jared, to do that? And also need to make sure that motor is not listed in the illegal list of the ref of the FTC competition lah.
So I would say if the parts is not in the illegal list of the competition, yes, you may use it.
And they mentioned that the list only stated certain brand of servo motor are illegal. From my point of I mean from our opinion, we have disagreed as before. Same goes to the controllers. Although in the list they mention a certain type of microcontrollers cannot be used, so we have decided that all type of microcontrollers are not any controllers ever any device as long as it is called as microcontrollers, including Arduino, Maker Uno, etc., are not allowed to be used, right? Since they are controllers, microcontroller, correct, Jared?
Yeah.
So in this case, although in the list there are only certain brand of servo motors, is it assumed that all type of servo motors are not allowed to be used?
Okay, we see like that because in the FTC, the servo motor is already said is legal.
Oh,
So
okay.
it means if the brand which are not stated is deemed legal because they just stated some brands.
Okay.
So if like it say microcontroller is cannot. Let's see here. Do we have like microcontroller that which uses Arduino Uno? So we have a controller here, and I don't think I would say usage of microcontroller because microcontroller is a brain. So the microcontroller which was stated in the illegal and legal list. Let me rephrase. Because the programming, they want the robot to have only one brain. They don't want it to have multiple brains.
Understand. So in terms of microcontrollers, which is act as a brain, only need one.
Yeah.
But for motors, despite the list of which is in the illegal, others are allowed as long as it's not more than 8.
Yeah, it's not
More than
those are listed illegal in the
understand.
illegal list.
So it is clear. So based on his answer, I mean just to answer the question, as a summary, if your motors, if you try and it works in the ref motors and it is not part of the illegal list, you are allowed to use as long as it is not the total number of motors are not more than 8. Correct, Jared?
Yeah.
Okay. So, but in the case of microcontroller, it is not allowed to use more than one microcontroller because we already have the control hub. Is it the control hub? We call that, right?
Yeah.
As a microcontroller itself, as a brain itself. So itself, we cannot have two brain in one motor lah, as a conclusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like the Lego FLL, you can only have one brain. You cannot have two brains.
Yeah. Okay. Hope that answer you. So cannot communicate. What? Sorry. Can you like explain, elaborate what is mean like cannot communicate? How about using chip only be used? Because microcontrollers can communicate. Oh, okay. In this case, we cannot use two microcontroller lah. Cannot communicate.
I think first one wants you to use the first programmer which is in the control hub.
Yeah.
They want you to use that.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's clear enough. So if you have any questions, you can just prepare your sentence and then you can just up in the chat later lah. So let me go proceed by do a short demonstration on how to fix the chain if you mistakenly remove this particular small shaft, which is recommended by the manual to not remove the shaft fully, right? Okay, this happens all the time because it is too small, right? And you can't really like uh what do you call estimate like how much you need to turn until it can exactly stay on this particular part. We call that a connector, the link connector. Okay, so first, if your shaft is totally removed, this particular metal thing shaft totally removed, you need to make sure these two part, the external connector, let's call this as an external connector, is need to be removed also. Okay, so make sure these both sides need to be removed so that you can fix back the shaft. Okay, so I have these two things at this side, and then we have two shaft here. The first one is the one we accidentally removed, and then another one is I purposely removed, which is still connected to the inner ring lah, inner chain. So I purposely remove this so that I can take these two part off, so that we can fix back everything together. Okay. First, so here you need to know you have a certain part. We have two section here that you can use. Okay, this part we have a that can pro. Okay, let me like turn this to show you. Okay, you can see there's a small we call that a shaft here. This part, the overall area is used most of the time is used to removing the chain to cut off the chain. This is a cut off part, and there's another part here, this end, and this one usually I use to connect back the chain, to link back the chain lah. Okay, so the method that I use might be not the what this is actually this is I tried by myself lah. So I saw four men from the bike from bike mechanic, so they basically like most of the time they use this type of thing but on a bigger scale, bigger size for the bike chain. So I use a similar method. So if you have a different way, as long as you can you find out a way which is not the same like mine, but you manage to put it together and it doesn't harm any of the chain or any part of the chain tool, then it should be good enough also. Okay, let me start by, so now my plan is to connect this this main chain part. This is the main chain part to one of the external connector. So we need to connect one side first, and then only we can go to the another side. Okay, that's why when you have like this, when you have two external connected together like that, let's say so you have already removed this, you need to remove these two things first before you connect the overall parts. Okay, so I'm using the connector section of the chain tool. Okay, let me put this together. Okay, so for this one, I'm gonna link this back to the main chain. So I'm not sure you guys can see this. Okay. So this is the external connector, which is on this end, a bit blurry. So let me know if you can't see. And then this is the main connector, and this overall section is the connecting part, the connector section of the chain tool. So the goal is to push back the shaft to one side of the external connector. Okay, you can see. Yeah. just gonna like this one I can't really show you when I'm turning, I mean like turning the screw in, because I need to hold this chain together so that it won't push out when I'm tightening the shaft and push it towards the external link lah. So when you have this position, so it means you are ready to push the shaft in. So external link, and this is the internal chain, the main chain, and then this is the external link. So you need to hold this together like that and just push together. Okay, this one gonna take some time. So the reason why it is not recommended for you to pull out the shaft, to basically to unlink the chain to shaft overall, because it's a bit hard for you to put back the chain together. It's not that it cannot, just that it's a bit hard. Okay, the chain is already in, so one side is already connected, so you can see it's connected, right? So so before you go to the another side, you need to connect the one that you have like removed, right? So to one side, so you need to make sure one side is fully connected, fully linked before you connect the another external connector to this end. Yeah, so that's how lah. That's basically that's the story about how you want to connect the chain together if the shaft is fully removed. Okay, so I will do this until the end, so this to show you how it works until the end, but it's not as easy as that. You need to like make sure the holes and the shaft is precisely together on one line, so that it's easy for you to twist this screw in. But if you feel a bit hard, means it's not together, or it's not, the shaft is not totally in line with the holes of the chain, the external link. This is the hole lah. Okay, so I'm gonna connect this one to the chain here. So I'm just gonna put this. Before that, I need to remove this out first. Okay. So when both of the chain are aligned, it's aligned something like this. Then you just need to like hold one side and then turn the shaft. Okay. It's like this. So I need to tighten so that I can push this in. Okay, it's in already. Okay, now it's connected both side. Okay, it's here, right? So one side is already connected, and there's okay, this part. This is the external link that I just connect to two internal chain here. So we need to have so we the left, so just left on the other side of the chain, which is this part. It is still not connected, you can see, right? So you need to have this thing to have, sorry, you need to have this thing connected to these two ends. This part is easier lah. So initially the hardest part is the first step, which you need to connect the external link to the main chain. So now if it's will be easier. So you just put the chain on the connector section of the chain too. Okay. I need to like remove this out first. So recommend to have a small tools like a forceps or a smaller size of this plier for you to hold the shaft or anything. Okay. Okay, it's done. See? So it's connected together. So hope you guys can get tips like if Mendel to note some few tips throughout this small short demonstration. So if you need more or hands-on type of explanation, you are welcome to drop by BAC, but notify us first before you come here lah. Okay, so I think that's all, Jared. So I will pass the stage to Jared.
Okay, thanks Shah for explaining the chain tool and how to attach the chain back. So let us continue on to our questions. So I've been okay, next the question is how to remove a nylon nut from the nut driver. Okay, let me share another camera. Okay, you can see my camera, right? Okay. Commonly, we don't insert our nut inside our screw. We don't insert. So to screw something towards the better extrusion, or maybe something, maybe in the aluminum plate, we commonly is screw inside the, make the nut go in the thread a bit first. It's a bit of nut. Let me just show like that. Make the nut to go inside the thread a bit. Okay, here it is. So after the nut go in the thread a bit, should be on this metal. After it go in a bit, then we only start by using our nut driver to make it tight. So in another case, if you cannot hold the screw or the screw is in difficult position, like in the metal shaft and you cannot hold it, I would say you use a wrench to hold the nut in position. This is a wrench, so you can put your nut inside, hold the nut, and maybe slowly tighten it to so that the nut can only fit into the screw slowly. So also to add, commonly a nut driver, it is used to like tighten a screw or nut. To hold a nut or screw, we usually use a wrench. So wrench is used for holding a nut or screw or by tightening the nut or screw in difficult position. So that's, I hope that answers your questions. Back to my main camera. So the answer that I gave here is commonly the nut is not directly inserted into nut driver, but few turns are made on the hex nut before it is tightened. So you just screw it on the screw, some few turns, and then you use a nut driver to tighten it. So this is to ensure that the nut actually goes into the thread of the screw, which is M3 in size and 0.5 in pitch. So what is the most suitable design for the robot's arm or cargo transport mechanism? I think there is no specific answer to this question. So what you need to do is you and your team are advised to study the game and do some further research on how should the cargo to be lifted by your robot using different type of mechanism. I can see that is a lot of creative mechanism through the checkpoint report which was submitted. So yeah, to explore some future possibilities to scoop up your cargo and deliver it.
Jared?
That in delivering the cargo, a maximum of one freight and one team shipping element can be taken at one time. So please refer to the rules for more information regarding this.
Jared, can I add?
Yeah, sure.
In case for teams who are not who haven't realized yet, we already open for teams to do booking slot to come and come in PAC to test run on the actual map and flight. Okay, if you are not aware, you can just text me or Jared, or you can go to the websites. We already have everything there. So maybe if after you go and come and if you see the actual map and the flight, you might have a better idea on how to prepare your robot, everything.
Yeah. So do contact me or Shah before you come. And if there is anything that you would like us to show you, like Shah doing the chain to contact us even earlier and tell that you want us to demonstrate to you. It can take more than one flight in a time. So to answer that, you can only take one flight at one time. So you can refer to the rules line GS8. I think so. Yeah. So hope it answer your question. So next, can 3D printing be versatile to all of the parts used in the robot construction? Yes and no. That's the answer. because you cannot replace some metal profile with the 3D printed parts, which you may receive a large amount of strain. Okay, as an example, let me share my second video again. Okay, you can see this is the robot I constructed, right? So you see this part, this plastic part, it should be metal, but I use 3D printed parts instead. So during the test run, actually this had already broke 4 times. I've replaced it 4 times, 4 different times for the robot to operate the arm lifting up and down. So that's why you cannot replace that with a 3D printed part. We have already set the infill to 100%, but yet it still breaks. For some applications, like you want to go through the shaft, because the 3D design in step file, which was published in the FTC website, it actually is the direct dimension of the plastic extrusion and not 3D printing. In 3D printing, we need to account for bending or warping. You need to account this even for like few millimeters or 0.5 millimeters. It may affect the size and it cannot go through the shaft. But you may actually further explore some other materials so that you can be printed from a 3D printer like ABS or maybe PETG. So I hope I explained the question. And next, how to assemble or use a magnetic limit switch. Okay, this is interesting, and you can see from here my second video guiding switch. So this is a magnetic limit switch, and that is a JST-PH 4-pin cable as well as a magnetic sensor here. So obviously, to attach this cable, there is 2 holes where we will attach it on a metal extrusion which have a lathe. So let me attach. So for this, the position of attachment, we can actually attach it on this surface, and you want to sense the metal here, or you can sense the both sides. So the sensors are on 3 faces: the top, the left, and the right. These are the faces for the sensing of the metal appearance, but commonly we would use the front surface for the metal detection. So for more information on this and how to program it, how to use, please refer it to the graph robotics documentation on this magnetic limit switch. So let me assemble and show you all. Okay, I have some problem here. So let me shift my camera a bit. Okay, so what I do starting first when I insert my sensor is that I put 2 standing screws in first. When you have the sensor, we want to attach this on the flat. We don't want to attach like that, right? So what we do is we put it in according to the 2 holes. So you will see that the 2 holes are here, one left, one right. After that, to tighten it, you place a nut, a nylon nut, and then you screw it few turns. Again, you need to screw it few turns so that it go in the track, and then when it goes in the track, it's nice. You can use a nut driver and start screwing it to make it tight. Okay, this is one. And one important thing when you're using this nut driver and the screwing, you don't want to screw it too tight as you don't want the metal extrusion to bend up. So if you do like that, next year students will see like why there's so much denting and this metal extrusion won't be that smooth anymore. So this is very important. So yep. So yep, okay, you see, without it screwing, if you enter like that, the nut won't. I would say if you like insert your nut into your nut driver and put it on this top surface, it won't align to the thread, so it won't screw. So that explains why it doesn't work when you start screwing with your nut driver instead of screwing it a bit on your screw. So let me screw a bit on my screw. Few turns. Okay, let's use a nut driver. Screw until you feel that is tight. Okay, then don't touch anymore. So yeah, we have a magnetic limit switch now. And to connect to the magnetic limit switch, we use the JST PH4 driver. You can see that in the JST PH4 here, we have a pin and we have a hole, a row hole below here. So what we do is, we see that this is the JST PH4 wire. That is like two row things on the bottom. So what we want to do is we plug the two row thing on the bottom and voila, your sensor is connected, and the another end you plug it to the control hub, a digital sensor, because this sensor magnetic limit switch it requires in a digital stage of active low. So active low, yeah. The meaning, okay. Since I talk about active low, does anyone know what is the difference between active high and active low? Okay, let me explain what's the difference between active high and active low. So during active high is like our sensor, common sensor. So it means when in usual condition, when the sensor is not triggered, it is 0. But when the sensor is triggered, okay, let me face it. But when the sensor is triggered, it will become high. So that means active high. The meaning of active low is that during this sensor, when it is on, it shows a value of 1. It is already triggered. So when it sends something like it sends metal, it will become 0. So that is called active low. When it is triggered, it becomes low. Sorry for my starting. When normal condition, it is not sensing anything, it's already active. So we put it 1. When it is triggered, it's already active, it becomes 0. That's the meaning of active low. So for more information regarding this magnetic limit switch, please refer to Ref Robotics documentation. There will state more. So let me refer to the questions which are in the chat box, and let me change my camera as I look very odd in this camera. Okay, that's more likely. Okay, let's go on to the top question. Okay, so we have a question from Yi Xian. Can I ask how can we access to Fusion 360 Autodesk for better robot CAD design if my school is not registered for the education program? So it provides us 1 year free trial. So I assume that you're going to Autodesk, when you register as a student, it will request you to like state your institution or state what institution you are from. So commonly we have tried before. So we just put in one of the institution and key in your details, and normally it will approve your application within 1 working day. So this is how we try lah, but that's the outcome we got. We don't have definite answer for this. So Golden Galaxy asks, can we put a store like thing inside the robot on the freights we receive? Okay, again, refer to the rules. So the rules actually states that each time when the robot, it can maximum transport 1 freight at one time. So the meaning of transport is that it brings the block and move. So during the robot, like maybe your robot mechanism have like a bucket combination, 2 buckets come and close, and then you scoop up, then only left 1 block. So when you holding, when you're taking it up, yeah, you can take many, but when you transport, when the robot move to place the freights in the shipping hub, it can only be 1. Can only take 1 freight at a time. Thanks, Maram. So, yep, to the shipping hub. So we need to put it 1 by 1. I would say you need to ship it 1 by 1 at one time. So the robot, as an example, here's the shipping hub, here's the robot, and here's the shipping hub, here's the store. The robot need to move to the shipping hub, move to the store, take 1 freight, move to the shipping hub, place it, go back, take 1, place it, go back, take 1, place it, continuously to conduct this type of activity. So yeah, I'm afraid that's the answer. So is there, what do the barcodes do on the game board? I would say actually the barcodes, okay, during the starting of the game, the autonomous mode, during the starting, the robot, we will give each team 1 preloaded freight with an X on it, sticker X lah, with an X on it, and the team will require to put it on the robot. So when the autonomous mode start, the robot need to determine the dark position on the 3 different barcodes. Is it on the first, second, or third? So if it based on the dark position on the first, you put it on the first tier. On the second, you put it on the second tier, and on the third, you put it on the third tier. So that's the definition of the barcode. Okay, so I assume this is the questions which was asked, and I didn't miss any. Okay, so moving on. How to tighten the female hex output from the ultraplanetary HD hex model. So we had to face the issue of the hex shaft not being able to stay straight, which causes it to bend downwards after an extrusion is put through. Well, this is a good question. So yep, I go to demo, explain lah. So okay, let me see if I have any issue. Okay, that's good. So focus on robot, not my face. Okay, so this is the robot. Yeah, this is the ultraplanetary hex motor. So let me unscrew this. So unscrewing. Use nut driver to unscrew the hex head. Store it properly so that it don't get lost. Okay, so before I detach this, I should say after I detach this, take this out first. Okay. This thing, I plug in this thing in the HD hex motor ultraplanetary. It won't stay straight actually. That's why you see that is different levels of stuff. We have a shaft collar, a truth ball shot, we have a gear, and we have two collars and another truth ball. So this truth ball, you can see that actually it take the task of having it tightly fit on the hole, because you see that the hole which was provided in this U channel is actually bigger than the shaft. So this truth ball actually it locates the shaft to be at the center, so that when it spins, it don't go around the circle, which may wear off your motor. Okay, let me show you an example of what happens when you do not have a long enough shaft. A good question. Where's my first thing? Okay, let me just show you this. What happens when you have a short motor and some of the components is very short. Okay, this is the HD hex motor and it's connected to this shaft, and you see the shaft is actually wobbling, and when you put it inside, not the right hole, we have we have two edges we have called a U plate. This U plate actually connects the two U channel together. So you realize that the shaft in this circle place it is able to shake. So what we need to do is we need a truth ball bearing shot, and as well we need to have the shaft length it is equals to this U plate on the edge, the length of the U plate, so that it actually fits perfectly on the hole of this U channel. It fits perfectly. So to make it longer, what we do is we can add a shaft collar. We can add spacer. We have few type of spacer. We have 3 mm spacer, we have 1.5 mm spacer, and we have 15 mm spacer. So this is what I do. I just add a spacer and a truth ball shot. So remember, truth ball shot is for you to place on the C channel, the C channel hole, so it actually spins perfectly. See, it fits perfectly, so it don't move around. So just put it in, although it's not very perfect. Oh, I remember. So place it in. It should the plastic truth ball collar should fit perfectly on the circle. And then when we put another U plate, it should also fix perfectly. Let me remove this camera. Okay, you can see this actually it fits perfectly. It fits. Chun chun. It cannot move anymore. So it just can only move on a circle. It cannot move front or back. So that's how you assemble a shaft onto the ultraplanetary hex motor. So let me put back the camera and shift to another camera so it looks more nicer. Okay. Okay, so how do we? Okay, Jing Song had asked how we tighten the female hex motor output on the core hex motor. After several manual rotations by hand, the core hex motor seems to lose its output tightness. This right. Okay, let me read through by using mouse. After several manual rotations by hand, the core hex motor seems to lose its output tightness. This problem is very obvious to us every time we attach an extrusion to the hex shaft and is inserted to the female hex output by using the hex pillow block. It seems to slant downwards. I reckon that it's not because the extrusion is too heavy, as the same thing was attached in the beginning, it was able to hold up the weight. So, yep, again, it is the U channel, the length of the shaft. You need to have the U channel, the length of the U channel, so that in one end, you push into the motor female output, and another end, you have the U channel pushing it to the motor so that it cannot move. So I hope that helps your question, answer your question. Okay. Yeah, sure, go ahead.
Okay, so this is what I was talking about. So this is my robot, and this is the hex shaft. Okay, so this is the core hex motor, and this is the extrusion. So can you see?
Hi, Jing Song. Can you
Yeah.
bring your camera lower or bring you hold the items higher? Yes, that's better.
Okay.
And make it slow and one by one, because when you explain,
Yeah.
when you show, we look like we can hear your voice faster than your demonstration. Make it like
Okay.
slow and steady.
Okay. So this is the extrusion, and this is the hex shaft, and this is the pillow block, and so this is the corax motor, and this extrusion is very loose. So is there a way to like tighten it so this sound can be heard? Because like when I lift it up a bit, it doesn't seem to like connect to the motor, to the output. So it's just very loose, but when I lift up a bit more, the sound can be heard. Yeah, like this. Can you hear the sound?
Yeah. So your question is that the motor actually it enables few degrees of flexibility, right? So like to move a bit, that it won't sound. So I would say yes, this is the characteristic of the core hex motor. So it actually allows few degrees for you to move. So you can see that in, okay, let me put to another camera. Okay. So you can see that in this motor, I can actually move few degrees of my stuff, of few degree of this up, and the motor, it can move a bit, as the torque which was provided by this motor is not that great. So if I lift my arm up and it actually slowly falls down, it is not able to accommodate the weight. So at the same time, if you ask that why does the shaft comes up, you need two shaft collar to attach it at the both ends so that the shaft only one falls out. So I hope that explain your question. Okay, so thanks for your question. I also learned a little bit. So let me continue sharing my screen.
Hi, Jing Song. Another method that I can think of now is maybe you can put a gear to lock so that there is no like so-called buffer movement, right? Just now you said that you're moving the shaft, but the motor is it's not connected to the motor yet. So if you put a gear, so it might tighten the shaft. So a small that might help to lock the shaft. You can try other way. Let's see. Let us know which method works. And also share your output to us. Maybe it might help. in the future. If you're saying something, you are muted actually. So
Oh yeah, sorry. So may I know where's the appropriate way to attach the gear?
Appropriate way to attach the gear.
The place.
I would say it actually is up to your design. So if looking back to my design, I've already used both of my core hex motor. So if in your design, I think the core hex motor is next to the metal shaft. So that is something coming up from your, that's a shaft coming out from the core hex motor. I would say you just put a motor, a gear here, then you only put your shaft collar to make it tight. So this I would recommend, but again, it's up to your design because I don't know how actually you want it to work. Or maybe you can, if you want to limit the movement, you can maybe add a small wood panel bottom of the robot. It may be possible, but I don't have the answer for this. It's up to your design again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, oops, it helps a lot. Okay, let me remove this thing. Okay, so yes, again back to my screen. Okay, so this one is question 14. Now it's 15. How to install the arm of the robot, grabbing or room style? Obviously, this is solely depends on your strategy on how to play the game and how to what is your team's vision in transporting the stuff from point A to point B, which is the storage hub to the shipping hub. So you don't have the answer for this. The answer is on yourself. Okay, next. Can we use? Yeah, I think this question 16 to 18 is the answer which was asked previously. So yeah, this one you can refer in the slides. And yeah, let's go back to the slides. Okay, so this is some hints that our PSC side we observe. So even that we have previously said that the team roles and responsibility, like we want to assign you to mechanical sub-team, programming sub-team, and electronic sub-team. But that doesn't means that like I just focus on mechanical. I don't need to take care or I don't need to know anything related to programming or electronics. So this is a chart which was drafted. So during the mechanical phase, the mechanical sub-team will be all the decision maker as well as the idea maker for the robot structure. And during the process, the electronic sub-team and the programming sub-team will help the mechanical team in the robot building as well as like have a second opinion or cross-check on the ideas which was given. Is it suitable or not suitable? That's the point of a team, right? So this goes the same for like the electronic phase and the programming phase, where different sub-team like have to cross-check and assist them throughout the robot construction. So this should be the model which was applied to all teams, although that we have assigned you like specifically for mechanical, specifically for electronics, and specifically for programming. So next. So on the reports type, so okay, there are two types of reports which was involved in the FTC throughout the robot building phase. First, we have the checkpoint report, which is to be submitted at least 1 week before the respective checkpoint tech clinic. As an example, for today's mechanical tech clinic, actually we gave you all some some special since this one is the first time and everyone is quite stressed. So not stressed, quite rushed. So we extend the due date for checkpoint report submission to be 2 days before. But next time for the programming and for the electronics and the programming phase, please to submit to us 1 week before the respective checkpoint tech clinic so that we can prepare on how to answer you and yeah, we can get a more satisfactory result and more affirmative result. So for the checkpoint report, I noticed actually there are some teams who actually prepare quite a long report, but actually it is to be kept short and concise. With it, like describe what was the event occurred and what's the problem faced and how do you do it. But again, if you are planning to use the different checkpoint reports to be compiled to engineering folio at the end or as a reference, yeah, you can continue to go on. But please bear in mind that you have a robot to build, you have your school homework to be done, and you have engineering folio to be rushed. So to consider these few items. So again, the pictures of the robot construction or the sketches are to be attached in the robot to be as a proof. So I would recommend the page to be around less than 10 pages, not to write a full report. So this is what was expected. Okay, the next engineering folio. The engineering folio is to be submitted to us, the organizer, at least 2 days before the start of the group stage of the round robin, which is around June, July. And the contents of the engineering folio are to be followed the template which was provided by us, the website. And for the engineering folio, it needs to be concise on the event. And we also want it to short as we don't want like reading 60 pages from each team and we have 14 teams and yeah, it takes a long time. So we want it to be short, concise, describe what event happens, and it gives us like how do you solve the problem. So again, there is no page limit for the engineering folio, but just to be mindful that you have a robot to build, you need to program the robot, and you need to conduct field testing for the robot, as well as your school curriculums, your homework, all those stuff. So I hope you all don't be too stressed on the engineering folio and the checkpoint report. So moving on, report start the neatness expectation. Okay, so in the checkpoint report that you all have submitted, I actually saw a lot of different fonts and like different neatness, like just simply write, like here got one, there got one, not very tidy. So okay, so this is the tips that I give you all as a previous student in engineering. So in preparing a technical report, it's important to enable the reader to have a good time reading it by using the same font and a structure format. So the fonts that we encourage is to use Arial 11 or Times New Roman 12 and the different font size, or you can go or italic it for like title or subtitle. And for the figures which were attached, you need to have it centralized in the center of the page as well as a description. And you need a number to describe which picture is this, so that in your report, when you refer to the picture, you can like, picture 2 states that how the robot is built, and picture 3 shows that this is the team which is constructing the robot for the ultraplanetary gearbox phase. So we need to standardize the wordings as well as an easy reference. So before that, I think it would be better if I show you an example. So I'm just going to show you regarding my thesis. So let me see, is there? This is interesting. Okay, never mind. I think I forget where I saved my report, but yep, please bear in mind that every time you're writing the report, to have this concept, to have a standardized wording, to have the picture put on center and have a description and have a number to track them. And also, I see that some teams have a content page as well as some details regarding the pictures. So yes, that should be how you prepare a report, to have a content to enable readers to refer to which page when they want to see different stuff. So you can have a table of contents for your contents, for your pictures, for your tables, to your to maybe your abbreviations that you use throughout your checkpoint report or your engineering folio. So let us move on. Okay, next, what is a Gantt chart? So a Gantt chart is actually for you to plan out how should you utilize the time to build a robot with different types of activity. So it is a popular way in showing the activities, which is the task to be done for the robot building against the time which was allocated by the team. So like each checkpoint, how many days do you have? How many weeks? So you all should place it like that. So that enables team to see various activity which were ongoing throughout the entire project. When should different activities start and when should different activities end? And this will enable the team to predict and track the expected elapsed time respectively for project or process in the project to be completed. So it can be actually portrayed in various ways in terms of how your teams see the Gantt chart is. So let me find my thesis. Kind of. Okay. Okay, so this is example of how should you write a report. This is my thesis, to be frankly. So this is not required. So you need to have a table content to state that how your content is organized, which page, and then you see that I have different numbers for different chapters. So in your report, I think there are few chapters. One of it is the mechanical construction of your robot, electronics, assembly and construction, as well as programming and field testing. So these are the few chapters. So let me show you. See, all the words are on the same font, as we don't want to confuse the reader. So it's on the same font and the same size. You can use a different size for the title. You see, it's bigger compared to the contents wording. So regarding to the Gantt chart, okay. So this is a Gantt chart which I prepared for last time. So it on this horizontal axis, it actually shows the time that I have for my completion of my project. And on the vertical axis, we have the items or action items which are to be done. So we can see that this one takes at least 1 week, 2 weeks, how many weeks we can see. And we can also observe which activities it move concurrently. So we can see that this discussion and preparation, we move it concurrently. And we, in this Gantt chart, I also have another element. One is the planned progress. Another is the actual progress to indicate, is it going as planned or is it not going as planned? So this is just a reference that you can refer to. And for teams who are using engineering drawings or engineering parts, which they were designing for their robot, I would also state that you should include your engineering drawings dimension in the appendix so that we can refer to. So this should be all that you all should focus on for the report and the Gantt chart. So additional notes and reminders to team. So this in here I've attached a spreadsheet which it refers to the frequently asked questions by the teams which they send us through the email and we reply them through email also. But we will put it here so in case that any team have the same issue and yeah, you can see that and troubleshoot yourself. Okay. Hope I'm not speaking too fast. As yeah, we are a bit behind of time. So I would like to highlight again. So the parts dimension or modification of part is strictly illegal. So as example, my robot here, you have the shaft too long. Can I cut it? No, you cannot cut it. As other teams at different season, they will need the full length of the shaft. So we don't touch, we don't cut. So again, the maximum number of 8 motors are allowed in the FTC robot, but currently the control hub only allow us to have 4 motors with 4 power box. So again, if you want to buy an expansion hub, you are welcome to purchase it yourself from Brave Robotic US and to have 8 different motors in your robot. So the robot which was designed, robot design which was provided in the website, such as the starter board or the basic board, are just for reference purpose only, and only one type of robot can be built at a time for testing. So the teams are recommended to build the team's robot based on their own design for the competition. So I can see a lot of flaws with this design, but yeah, I believe that this is just a preference for teams like how should I build my robot and what task it should be complete, and then you can design it on your own. Okay, so last but not least is the additional budget allocation for teams to build their robot. So after various appeal and requests from the participating teams and mentors, organizing team from the PSC, we have decided to additional allocate 500 ringgit for each team to be used for the robot construction. So everyone can go to this FTC financial form, which I will share the link in the chat box. So yeah, this in the chat box. Okay, replying to a question in the chat box. Sorry, I didn't saw it. So the link to the Google slide, yes, I will publish it in the website after this session together with the recorded video. And
Jared,
yes,
have you you already can I add in some to explain about the additional budget allocation? Just
okay,
highlights lah.
Right, I just haven't started explaining.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then you go first, then I can add in if there's a need.
So I posted the link to the spreadsheet in the chat box. You can open it. That's my cursor. Shah,
Yep.
you will explain it, right?
Yeah, okay. I will explain. I'm not going to explain in detail, but I will explain how to use what is the financial report means. We have two forms, and in what are some of the highlights that each students need to know in order to apply for this. Okay. First, PAC, we have come to a decision to provide a finite amount of petty cash for teams to be able to purchase additional parts for your robots. Okay. So, but okay. So here are some of the highlights for the procedure and requirements for a team to apply the fund from PAC. Okay. First, each team will be given RM 500 ringgit upon submission of a FTC Penang petty cash request form. Okay, now you are seeing on the screen is the petty cash request form. So you can see team name. Okay, Jared, can you scroll up? So you can see there's a team name, payee name, NRIC is IC number, bank name, account number, email, amount, and proposed amount of allocation. Okay, so payee name means team need to discuss to whom to whom you would like the cash to be transferred so that the whole team can utilize to buy additional parts. So you guys decide that first, huh? And IC number is the IC number of the one who gonna receive the money, which is the payee, and bank name is the payee bank name. Account number also the number of the payee, those who gonna receive the um, additional fund. Okay, don't put a different on details of a different person. Make it all the information must be owned by the payee, those who are gonna receive, which is one representative from the team side. Recommended to be your teacher because so that recommended to be your teacher lah, but whoever who has been agreed by the whole team members should be good enough. And then email number the same. Email account number also the same. The payee, and the amount is fixed 500 ringgit. It means we will be giving you 500 ringgit. One lump like that lah. Okay, and then proposed amount allocation means teams are required to justify roughly or estimation how you're going to utilize the 500 ringgit. Okay, so just list down whether you want to use for mechanical part or you have a specific name of that you already have in your list you want to buy additionally. Just list down that and do write some detailed description at the justification of additional part requirement column. Okay, and also before you submit this petty cash request form, do read the terms and condition. First, all price amounts stated in the financial report must be in ringgit Malaysia. If you are buying from a different state, please include the delivery charge also. Okay, second, teams are to justify the additional part required for FTC competitions with condition of clear parts price given, which is tallied to the receipt. That one, make sure you can have a catalog, right? You're gonna go and refer inside the Shopee, let's say, or any other online platforms, which is in local or even in overseas, as long as it's within the price we have allocated. Make sure the price is included, like I mentioned just now, the delivery charge, etc. Must be tallied with the final receipt. And third, all hard copy receipts and invoice are required to be submitted with the following financial report to Penang Science Cluster. So please keep all your receipts that you have received after you buy the items upon successfully your application has been successfully received by PSC. So after you get the 500, please keep all your receipts. And fourth is teams is required to return the balance amount to Penang Science Cluster via bank transfer or cash upon submitting a financial report. So later I will explain to you what you need to put inside the financial report lah. So for example, here at below there, you can see if your total amount is 450 ringgit, the teams is required to return a 50 ringgit back to PSC. And fifth item is balance fund can be transferred via online or cash again. And then 6, you are required, the point number 6 is you are required to attach the bank slip via the with the financial report as a proof of transfer if you decide to transfer the balance to PSC. 7 is signature of team leader, teacher advisor, your teacher, and a team mentor, one of your mentors. So if you have more than one mentors, one of your representative or the mentor are required before the submission of the form to Penang Cluster. Jared, can you scroll down, show the section of a signature part? Team leader signature and name, team advisor signature and name, mentor sign and name. Only one mentor lah. Either one, you guys can decide who gonna sign this. This is make sure everyone in the teams and everyone within this aware that you guys are applying for this fund. And next,
Shah, we have a question from the floor. Can use the 500 ringgit as shipping fee?
I think it should be okay. Go as long as it's not exceed the 500 ringgit lah. But remember, this is only this 500 is only allowed to get additional parts. Okay, let me highlight to you. There's a 3 circumstance within among the 3 situations that that you guys might encounter throughout this FTC program that which involves fund or money. Only one situation is allowed to be used. Allow for us to use this 500 ringgit lah. Okay, the first, okay, let me just say it here. Okay, the first is you guys might encounter there's a time where you need to replace parts due to manufacturing defects. It means right after you get the sets with you now, when you check, there's some parts quite already broken. So that one we have gone through that. Some of the teams already report to us, right, Jared? And we already passed them submitting parts. It means the set is not really complete right after they open the sets, even before start the robot. Okay, so for that purpose, this you guys are not allowed to even that one is not an allowed reason for you to use to apply this 500 ringgit petty cash. Okay, the second situation is if student broke or missing but if a student, a team member, or anyone in a team member broke or lost parts from FTC sets, this gonna be totally on the team's responsibility to get back that parts. You either you use the spare parts. Okay, so but you cannot use to get this 500 ringgit in order to buy back or to purchase back that broke or lost items. Okay, if you would like to get or apply or ask a spare part from PSC, we only will provide a spare parts after the competition ends. So if you have a broken parts, or if you broke a parts, if you lost a parts of the sets, you need to continue with that sets until the end of the competition. Okay, so we cannot use this 500 ringgit to get or to buy a broken or the lost parts. So these 500 ringgits are only allowed for you to buy additional parts, means those which is not in these default sets or standard sets of ref kit, and you would like to add more like additional screws, additional motor, additional beams, anything lah. Okay. Okay, we will highlight this in our website also. So this is just to give you some prior highlights. Okay, Jared, can you scroll down to the pre-form? Item number 8. Yes.
We have another question. After the item is bought, where it belongs to the team or BSC?
It will be belong to the part sets, the sets lah. It will be owned by sets. So at the end of the year, most probably all the sets will be returned back to PSC, right? So it will be you need to return back that parts lah. Although it's not part of the default set, you need to return back to the sets. If you are going to continue you're going to compete again for next year, so we will be giving back the sets in the parts together if you need.
Okay.
Yeah. Because same goes to the ref sets. These additional parts also come from the same source of funding, right? Where we purchase the ref sets. We're going to be together. It need to be part together with the sets when you at the end of the competitions. unless you find your own sponsor, use your own fund to buy the parts, it will be owned by the schools or by the students. Okay, regarding the additional funding or sponsorship, I will be highlighting in a while. Okay, Jared, can you go back to the pre-form? Hope I answered the questions. Whoever who asked just now. Okay, item number 8. Upon submission of a petty cash request form, please allow a few working days for the cash to be transferred to the payee account. Yes, at least it's gonna be 1 week. We're gonna be we are working on trying to process this as fast as possible, but please give us some time to get it done. And number 9, which is the last one, do submit this form to Penang Cluster by 15 April. As any submission after mentioned date will not be anything. It means if you like to apply for this 500 ringgit petty cash, please discuss with your team members, decide who's going to be the payee, who going to be responsible to get the money, to hold the money or to put their bank account here, and submit to us by 15 April, regardless of you regardless of any reason. So to make sure everyone or you guys have enough time to prepare everything lah. Okay, so okay, that's about the petty cash request form. Okay, next. Yeah. Okay, so if a team's expenditure exceeds 500 ringgit, you are allowed to reach out to external sponsorships. Like some teams did ask us whether they can go for get outside funding. It is allowed, or utilize your own fund. It's upon you, up to you. For just a recommendation for external sponsorship, you are recommended to reach out to your main FTC sponsor company first. It means each team, if you realize your mentors come from a certain particular company, right? Like you say, like we have Jabil, then we have other, and then we have NI and the rest of the companies, right? You can see the logos on your backdrop, FTC backdrop, right? So that will be I recommend that gonna be your first option of getting external funding lah. Your school or your teacher can reach out to that particular company. And also you have other options, other list of companies in that your teacher or your schools has already linked to. You are allowed to reach out to that particular company also. There is no terms and condition on that particular matter. And then upon successfully applying the 500 ringgit petty cash, again, please keep all the receipt of the parts you have purchased from this additional fund provided. Teams are required to prepare and submit a financial report, and then you need to attach that particular receipt to that report and then submit back to PAC. So now Jared is presenting this financial report, which is the post form. After you buy all the things, Jared, can you scroll up a bit more? Okay, so first start challenge at Penang, petty cash financial report, which is up at the end after you utilize this 500 ringgit. So school name, team name will be particularly a team leader or the teacher name. This one we will be amend this part, make it clearer, and then put in our website, IC and email. So part description. So upon each part we have purchased, write the name and the description, unit price and how many you bought and total amount, and then justify why you buy that, and then the receipt attached. Just put a tick there if you already have a receipt attached to this form. And then at the end, so let's say if the total amount is 500 ringgit, and then you don't really need to transfer back the amount. If it is less than 500 ringgit, you need to transfer back, and then either you pay cash or you just online transfer, like I just mentioned just now. Okay, all price amounts stated in the financial report must be ringgit Malaysia, and then teams are to justify the additional parts required for the FTC competition with condition of clear part price given which is tallied to the receipt. So make sure the price mentioned in this financial report must be tallied with the receipts that we attach together. And then all hard copy receipts and invoice are required to be submitted with the following financial report. Teams is required to return back the balance, as I already explained just now, either online or cash. Online, please attach the transfer receipt as a proof also. And then item number 6, you are required to attach the blank slip, as I mentioned just now. Jared, can you scroll down?
That's all.
Okay, I think that's all. Okay.
Shall we have some questions from the floor? Okay, first
Okay.
question is from Mentor Chichu. So if the additional parts like consumable, say like lubricant, is this required to be returned to PSC after using the fund to buy?
Is it fine to buy things not listed in the pre-form but will be added? Yes. Okay, first, thanks for your question. So edit like consumable parts, you are allowed to buy if it's but okay, let us highlight this part. Can we reply later? Maybe email to everyone after we normally you are not really need to return back the consumable parts lah, because it's already you can use that for your you can keep the parts, just that this attached receipts will be fine. So as right after you purchase the item, we assume that you already consume it until the end. Although it's have you still have a spare, you have still have some more. It's not yet finished. We assume that you already utilized until the end lah. Okay,
Okay,
so you don't really
second
need to
question.
return back.
Sorry.
Okay,
Okay,
second question will be,
Is
is
it
it
fine to buy
is it-
things which were listed in the pre-form but will not be added into the post-form?
Yes, it is fine. The pre-form is just an estimation list that you guys have in mind, but right after throughout the progress, changes, amend and adaptation of the strategy, you might find that you need different parts compared to the one you have initially listed. It's totally fine. As long as the receipts attached, it's tally with the amount you use, and everything should be good enough. Huh? Yep. Okay, any more question? Okay, let me highlight again lah. If use this 500 ringgit as a shipping fee, should be okay as long as you are buying additional parts lah. And as long as you're buying additional parts, that should be fine. It's considered as part of the additional. You're using the funding as part of purchasing the additional parts, regardless of where you buy. Like I mentioned just now, delivery need to be part of the budget of your budget of getting these additional parts. Okay, I think that will be the highlight. A detailed black and white steps on how to apply this will be shared in our website and emailed to you by this couple of days, by this weekend. The latest is going to be this Sunday. Okay. So I shall pass the stage back to Jared then.
Okay, thanks Shah for explaining the budget allocation. So again, before we adjourn today's tech clinic, I would like all attending participants to complete a mechanical post survey. So I will copy the link into the chat box. So to kindly reply us done once you have already completed the survey. So again, each of these survey are very important as it will be used by us as valuable data to feedback to first regarding the conduction of the first tech challenge in Malaysia for this year. So if it is successful and outcomes a positive result, we can register as an official team for next season, and winners advance to the World Championship at United States.
And also, I think your response to these particular survey forms and the coming survey forms might contribute to the final results outcome of the teams in the final stage, I believe, right, Jared?
Yeah.
Okay. So whoever already fill in, you can just type done and you can leave the meeting, I guess. Yeah. You have any more questions? Will be available here until all of you leave the Zoom. You can just ask in the chat column.
For those participants who missed up the pre-survey just now, during the starting of the session, you can find the link of this pre-survey and post-survey in the survey links page under the website, under the name of FTC Mechanical Tech Clinic, FTC Clinic Session Mechanical for pre and post survey. Oh. At the same time, I would also like to state that we have already updated the award list as well as the match fixtures in the under the competition section of the page, so you can refer to it, and yeah, you can work hard to achieve the goals which were stated for the specific award, and prepare yourself for the matches. Each team will at least have, but we have 6 matches in the group stage, and the top 8 teams with the top 8 highest score from the group stage will advance to the championship stages, where we'll start with quarter final, followed by semi-final, and then first place and third place match. So hope everyone is motivated after the tech clinic today. So on behalf of PSC, I apologize if there is any misinformation that I stated throughout the session, and maybe some wrongdoing. So I apologize to you all, and we shall see you all in the next checkpoint, electronics checkpoint, on next month. So we hope the best to you all, and that's all from me. Thank you. So please kindly remember to write done in the chat box once you have completed the post survey.
Waiting for them to respond. Okay. we will share, I think, yes, for sure, we will share this link of the checkpoint one clinic presentation in website lah. So we will just include in the email, we will notify in the email to everyone that we have already uploaded this, including the application, the fund application procedure also. Okay, those already submitted your post survey form, students, actually, you can leave the team, leave the Zoom. And thanks to all the mentor to spend some time and join with the teams today in this Zoom. So you guys can leave if you would like to. And let us know. You can just text us or through your liaison person if you have any questions or doubts.
Sure, I think you can stop. You can stop recording. Thanks, Sharon.